Dogon tribe. Channeled information. Hi, so I often get asked how I communicate with so many spiritual beings and how do I know who they are and how it all starts. Basically, the only answer I can give you is that usually the synchronicities that happen in my life bring forth new spiritual beings for me to talk to. And then after I talk to them, then I realize the significance of what they're saying. And I don't do any forehand research. I do all of that afterwards, after I hear what they're saying first. So how this one came about was exactly this dress I'm wearing right now. I went to Big W a couple of days ago and I saw this on the rack for $7, woo, and I had to get it. And I was drawn to the colour because, as you know, in my other video blogs, I've been told to wear pink to help me with my heart condition that I have at the moment for my dizzy spells. And that when I wear pink, it actually stops the dizzy spells. So I saw it and I thought, oh, that's a nice dress I could wear during readings and stop me from feeling dizzy when I'm reading people. And for $7, I thought, hey, why not? It fits great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I was really drawn to it. And my daughter was with me at the time. And she goes, oh, Mum, that's a granny's dress. It's too ugly. Oh, you're not going to get it. And she put it back on the rack. And we walked in and did our other things. And then I said, Kira, go get me that pink dress. I said, it's in my head. I need to get it. I want it for some reason. She goes, no, Mum, you're going to look like a grandma. La, 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 la. You can't have that one. And refused to get it. So I pushed her out of the way, basically. And I went up to the rank, got it, purchased it, and came home. And then she kept going on about how ugly it was on me, and it was a bit tight, and it was this and that, and how she doesn't want her mum to look like a grandma. And I said, look, I just need to wear pink. I know I'm not really a pink girl, but at the moment I'm being drawn and told by the angels to wear pink. So I'm just going to wear this dress through readings. She was right. It was a bit tight. So the next day I went back and I got a bigger size. And then I came home and I tried it on and I was feeling very comfortable with it. And I went into my room and I started to do some channeling while wearing this dress. And I got a new entity that came in, but he was wearing a big mask, big long mask, with lots of colours, lots of beading, lots of shells coming off to the side, very traditional kind of costume with like frays of things coming out, like pink frays coming out, and very a lot of pink in his costume. So then I realized wearing this dress was helping me to connect into him. So yeah, so there's sometimes we just do things that we think are quite human, but actually they're spiritual directions or spiritual pushes. And if we actually listen to those pushes, then the synchronicities then turn out. So I then channeled this being, and that will be the next video of who it was and what this being had to say. But people ask, how do I just connect in? It was simple as that, as buying a dress and then wearing it and knowing I had to have it for a reason, and then channeling through an entity that had the same colours, and even the beadwork on this was very similar to the beadwork that this entity was wearing. So I just thought, it's just as simple as that. Sometimes you've just got to listen and go with the direction, go with the flow, and that's how they come through. So as I was saying with the last channeling blog about this dress and wearing pink, I brought through a new entity who's been talking to me for the last couple of nights. He keeps telling me his name is Nomos, Nomos, and he keeps talking about being an alien ancestor for the Dogon, D-O-G-O-N tribe. Dogon tribe. He said they're a very ancient tribe in Africa, and the place where they were, where the Dogon tribe was, starts with an M-A-L I, something like that. Sorry, I didn't write that one down. And that they're connected to, the tribe itself is connected to Sirius A, B, and C. And people don't think there is a Sirius C. There is. It's been found a few years ago. But this tribe apparently knew about Sirius B before any other astrologists or people who work in that field knew that there was a Sirius B. They only always thought there was a Sirius A. But this tribe did drawings and artifacts that actually talked about the constellation and talked about Sirius B and Sirius C. And as Ozzy knows, he was the one talking about Sirius C a lot of in his templates. So this one was coming through and saying he was an alien ancestor of that tribe, and that he came down and that he's connected to Rainbow Serpent, my crystal skull. He's also known as the serpent for their tribe. And he shows up in a lot of drawings and a lot of creatures and stuff like that. And people get very misconstrued with information that they get. They basically talk about this alien craft that came down over the water and dropped beings into the water, and then a lot of people saying these beings are green aliens, reptilian-like, or the Anunnaki. When they can never know what they are, they always just call them the Anunnaki. That's what I found in the literature. He's telling me they're definitely not Anunnaki. They're a fish tribe race. He said they were, yes, dropped off into the water, and he said, and they became what we know as the dolphins today. And he goes, back on their day, though, they could walk on two legs if they chose to, or they can take dolphin form. Oh, hello, Nani. Please sit down. Sorry about that. She wants to join in. Or they could walk on two legs but had a fish body and a fish head, just like the Sumerian tablets and Sumerian things. The Babylonian inscriptions also show these fish gods, and over the years they have been known as mermaids and mermen, but I got told again that is not the case, that they didn't come down as mermaids or mermen, but other alien races came down and put mermaids and mermen down here as well. And then there was a mix or infusion of DNA between the Nominos and that alien who did the mermaids, and they joined together and they had a hybrid race as well. That, you know, they often see them as lizard men and things like that. But again, they're just like dolphin-like creatures with a very silver tone, that's very sparkly tone he was showing me. So sometimes it would reflect off the water or the sun and look greenish, but they weren't. They were actually silver, a silver tone. And again, not the Anunnaki. He also told me about the creator person called AMMA, was one of their star beings also, and that he had blonde hair, blue eyes, quite a tall being, quite a fair man, that he was their like first man on earth. He was their creation man, and that he was actually from the Galactic Federation, that he was a star being and he's come from the Milky Way system, and he calls our system here on Earth, he calls that the Council of the Worlds, that there's a stargate on Sirius C that allows access here onto Earth. So that's how a lot of the Galactic Federation travel. There's also another one in the Pleiades system, the Stargate there, so then the Pleiadian alien beings can come down and access us as well. The first Earth he keeps talking about, there was three layers of Earth when they first came down. And you got to remember, there was a lot of different alien beings that came down at a lot of different times. There was a lot of different races that all extended from the one race, which was Australian Mu. And then they travelled up to Africa and up to Egypt and further on. The others went to the South Pacific Islands, and then over across to what we know now as Easter Island, and then over into South America, and travelled all the way up to North America, all the way up to Canada, all through the ices. There was others that went down further south, that went into New Zealand and went into Iceland and went into all of those kind of areas over here, Bora Bora. And then there was others that went this way as well, that did the Asian side. So it's like the 4 tribes of the Aboriginals, or of the ancient beings who we knew were Isis and Osiris, who one was from Pleiades and one was from Sirius, did the Aboriginal race. And then they all branched off into 4 tribes, which is the feathers, the flowers, the fish, and the reptilian race. And that's how we've got all of them that spread out and populated the world. So the feathers to me is like the Mayans with their headdress, and the Native American Indians with their headdress, and the Polynesians with their shells and their costumes and things like that. They all went up that way. So the feathers went up into there and went to that side of the world. And then we have the reptilians, is what we know now as the reptilian race. So they came down again, manipulated DNA from the originals, from Isis and Osiris. They then became the fish race, and they went up into the Egypt ones and Sumerian ones and became the Anunnaki race and the reptilian race, and again had hybrids, different mixes in there as well, and they did some of that side up there. Then you've also got the flowers, which to me are the very Aboriginal ascent. They work with a lot of bush elements and bush medicine and things like that, and each flower would have a specific purpose and a specific gender. So that to me, they stayed. They also went down to Tasmania, New Zealand, and did around there. Okay, and then you've got so I did the fish. Okay, so I did the feathers, and I did the reptilians, and I've done the flowers. So they're saying I've got to do the fish. So the fish could be this race called the Nommos, or Nommos. I don't know how it's pronounced, because they just flash words into my head, basically. So that could be the fish race, the mermaids, the mermans, the fish gods, all of that. Also the flowers, they're telling me a real ancient race that was before man or humanoid form came down. There was 4 original races before the humans, before Isis and Osiris came down on their mission to work with the human race and do DNA experiments. There was also kind of an animal race that was here long, millions and millions of years ago, when Earth was kind of first created. Their technology and their knowledge and their buildings and their civilizations is way, way long gone. But they're still here in ether form. So they'll still turn up in photos. They'll still turn up in beings to talk to. We will still be drawn to certain symbols. We will still be drawn to their archetype. So their energy is still very much present, but I get told it's under layers and layers and layers, and quite hidden and quite dense. But if you tap into it, you do get a whole new world there as well. Again, with them, I see a lot of cat-like creatures, and they're called the felines. And they have a very cat face and cat body. Sometimes we're down here on this earth in one of the levels, because there was 3 levels, 1, 2, and 3, before the humanoids came. And one of these levels, the cat were here in physical, but so going on from the last video about the felines and their race, very cat-like creatures. Definitely here still in the ether, but was here once in physical form. Very cat-like face, very cat-like body, still very some humanoid features, but I wouldn't call them humans as such. They're definitely a different race. And they were here as well. And then we had the reptilians here as well, who were like the lizard-like creatures. Very scaly skin, the lids that would come down and then go up with the black and then pop back up over the other lids. There were also, so we had the ones like the felines that look like the lions and look like the cats, and then we had the reptilians that look like the lizards and things like that. And then we also had the bird beings that were here as well, and they had the bird heads and sometimes physical bodies, but usually the bird heads, and some of them could have had wings and some of them could have had a lot of different color feathers. So I found out some information about those three races that were here before the humans, before Isis and Osiris. Not a lot of information is actually known about them. He says you have to tap into each and every one of those races and call in one of their deities or one of their gods or one of their spiritual beings and get information about each of those categories if you would like to do that. But this being that I see in the mask and the pink fray and doing a sort of a death dance is what he's telling me, a traditional death dance. He said it's not just death of the physical body, but it's also death of our old times and our old cycles here and coming into new cycles. So a lot of exciting things are happening on the earth plane, then why all these entities are now coming in and communicating so thoroughly and wanting to attach to psychic mediums to get their messages out. So we are living in very exciting times where they're now coming in like this, and me as a psychic medium have to work out who they are, why they're here, what wisdom they want to give, and then translate what they're planting within my head, sometimes with vision, sometimes with words, sometimes I'll see words. Each one of them works in a different way, and then have to put out a video and tell you guys what I'm seeing and who I'm communicating with, so the wisdom does get out of there, so my job's done, and then hopefully they can leave me alone for another one to come in and to do the same thing. So there's a lot of things happening. A lot of these old cycles that were previously here are coming in the ether, and we're starting to get pictures and see things and know things and feel things, and ancient wisdom and ancient knowledge is rising up again for all of us to observe and wonder about. We don't have to agree with it. We don't have to say, oh yeah, that's right, that resonates with me. We just have to know about it, so then our soul knows. Doesn't have to agree, doesn't have to disagree. It just knows. It just bees in the presence of it. That's all. The more we open up to all the new possibilities, the more new possibilities will come in. And that's, to me, what is so exciting about these coming ages and these window closings, but spirituality opening, is all this really not new but ancient wisdom that we are relearning or rehashing, coming up and now sinking our teeth into it. Like, yeah, this is exciting. To me, that's why I get a buzz. That's why I do what I do. Some people will call me wacky and crazy. Let them. I don't really care, because it gives me a buzz. It keeps me energized. I learn so much more. Then I start to spend hours and hours researching what's in here to try and explain it to you guys in maybe some better formats, or some pictures for you to view, or for other information that others have said, to try and sort it all out. But that's your part of the journey, is then to go, oh, that's interesting, I'll look into that. Again, doesn't have to sit with you, but if it pulls a cord and you want to look at it more, all the information continuing from this presentation is all there, and you can read about it, investigate it more, and you can just get the understanding. So I don't mind when all these new entities and beings come through me. I learned so much. I didn't know about this Dogon tribe. Didn't know anything about them, and now I've learned so much from just talking to this masked being. And I did ask him why he chooses to come through in my psychic eyes wearing the mask and wearing traditional costume, and he said because when I saw it I would know it was him. Don't know what that means, but I'm sure I will. Again, sometimes they like to leave a little bit of mystery, a little bit of puzzle. They don't let you put all the pieces of the puzzle together. You have to go off this way and that way and then this way and then that way and come back to the original little piece. But then that original little piece will look so different to what it first did when you saw it. It's part of your growth, part of your soul development. Anyway, I hope you all have a beautiful day. It's Sunday at the moment, and as you can see, the sun is going down very fast. So everybody, please enjoy your Sunday night, and I will talk to you another time. Angel blessings. Information that I have researched after I met the masked man in pink. Connected to Ozzy, as he's the serpent and the creator. Rainbow serpent in their carvings, in their rock carvings, rock drawings. Places of worship where they say the nomos, parts of their body are kept in these shrines or temples.